Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Michael and Rob here, Lake Michigan Angler TV here on YouTube. We're out in the water, absolutely beautiful, fantastic day, flat calm. It's the 1st of August, and we're out here on a mission to share with you and talk about Dipsy rod and Dipsy fishing, how to utilize it, how to set it up, the importance, specifically with wire Dipsies too, how to use them and all that. So we got a little bit to cover. It's not like super, a lot, but there's some important things we're going to talk about, Rob. Where are we going to start with this?
Yeah, well, Dipsies are my favorite rods. I think they're the most important rods in anybody's spread, especially those just starting off. So right here we have just a clear Dipsy diver. And on the bottom there's a dial with a weight, and you can change the angle it goes out based on this weight. So you have settings from 0 to 3, and it goes in both directions. And if you want it to get further away from the boat, keep it on a 3. If you want it straight back, and keep it on a 0. The more line you put out, the deeper it gets. So what's important is using a reel with a line counter on it. So this is a wire Dipsy reel right here, broad end reel. So the line counter is really important because it keeps track of how much line is going out. That way you can keep track of how deep your diver is.
Yeah, and on those Dipsies, there's a depth chart in the back of it.
Yeah.
So I always recommend people to either cut that little section out, keep it on your boat, or better yet, just take a photo of it, keep it on your phone, so you have a reference on like where you want to go, because the chart is broken down into the settings 1, 2, 3, and then how much line out to get to certain depth ranges, and that helps out a lot.
Yep.
So there's two types of Dipsies. There's a braided Dipsy, which is more ideal for like your beginner to get acclimated to Dipsy fishing, and then there's the wire. And the wire one we're going to talk about today more specifically, because that one's a little bit more careful. It's a little bit more you got to pay attention to. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and set lines here. We're hoping it's going to be a good day of fishing. We're also going to cover in a separate video coppers, and everything about coppers, how to let them out, how to run them, and picking between the various kind of copper sizes and such. So we'll link to that over here somewhere. But let's get into the Dipsy stuff here, Rob. Let's go ahead and set them all up. What can guys run on Dipsies, Rob?
You can run anything you want on a Dipsy in reality, and but I prefer most of the time I'm going to be running flashers and flies or dodgers and flies. In the spring when we're fishing for cohos, it can be pretty exclusively dodgers and flies on the Dipsies. And then this time of year, we're targeting more kings, and we've got big cohos around. We're definitely going to be running more flashers and flies. You can definitely run spoons, and we catch fish on it like that some ways, and even plugs on occasion. But my preference is definitely flashers and flies.
Yeah. And now, when we're talking about lead from the Dipsy to whatever bait of choice is going to be, we're going to put on a paddle here. I just got this. This guy's been pretty good all year so far. The white magnetron from Salmon Candy and such. I believe it's a Munda fly on the back of this.
Yep.
It's going to be a glow fly too. So
the Munda glow flies have been really good.
Yes. So what are we talking about for leads from the Dipsy, and then what pound test do we recommend?
So in this case, since we pretty much exclusively are running flashers and flies from this Dipsy here, we've got some pretty heavy line on there. It's 40 pound. Okay. You can definitely go lighter. That's fine. Especially if you want the option of running spoons, I would go down to 20 or 25. But being that it's only Dipsy or flashers on here, we can go as heavy as we want, really. And as far as length goes, we stick to a rod length. That's what works for us. A lot of people are going to go quite a bit longer than that and hand line the fish or rig up slide divers and different things like that to get longer leaders. But we found that the 7-8 foot leader works just fine for us. And if you're just starting with Dipsies and you're fishing a small boat, smaller, a shorter leader like that, it's going to be a lot easier for you to land the fish.
Yeah.
So I would suggest just keeping it simple if you're new to it.
Yeah. Now talk about how we release the wire specifically, because that wire is so thin, and a lot of times we see it when guys come in there not handling properly. The biggest issue is that wire will bind on itself and lock up, or even get into the reel itself.
Yeah, if you've never used wire, I would suggest right off the bat, having someone who's spooled a lot of it put it on the reel for you, because it can be a bit finicky to put on the reel to begin with. And if you can't keep constant tension on it, it's going to dig into itself. But the other thing is once you're using it, you always want to keep constant tension on the wire. Even when you're not using it, we want to keep that snap swivel and that bead that we have at the end of it right up to the rod tip, So there's always tension on that wire. That keeps it from getting curly, from twisted, getting into places you don't want it. So it is just a little finicky compared to braid.
Yeah, definitely. When we're talking about the rods and reels, and what we recommend for folks when it comes to wires specifically, you want to cover that in terms of length and then reel types?
Yeah, so the main reel type, you want a line counter. You can go with like Akuma 30s, 303D cold waters, 45s, anything like that. In this case, we have a Penn 30, a Penn Fathom 30, which is a really nice reel for the wires. Any of that works great. As far as rod length goes, around here especially, we like a little bit shorter rod than in other places of the lake, and the main part of that is so that we don't get stuck running really long rods outside of our Dipsies. So right here, this is an 8-foot, and that allows us to use a 9-foot if we want to run a braid or another wire outside of it. Because if you're going to use two on the same side, you definitely want two different length rods. So I always suggest when you're starting with your first wire diver to get 8-foot, and if you're starting with your first braid diver to get 9-foot. That way you don't have to replace any rods when you're going to get your second set.
Yeah, and then in terms of rod position, I mean, I'll try and get a separate shot of you guys can see how these are looking and understanding how the rod should look in the water. When we're talking about angling of the rod holder, talk about that.
Perpendicular to the side of the boat and horizontal to the water.
That's kind of like the crash course when it comes to, the wires and such. The one other caveat I will say, when it comes to the reels for a wire rod, I think it's important that if you're going to pay a little bit more for anything, it's for that wire reel.
Yeah.
Because you want the better drag.
Yeah,
right?
If it's in your budget to get one reel or one set of reels to be the best in your boat, I would make it the wire diver reels because they have the most pressure on them. They have the most wear and tear. The wire is the least forgiving line out of everything in the boat.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to splurge on anything, it's going to be those wire diver reels.
I think guys get shocked at how kind of limber the wire rods are. Like, that's really going to work? And it's like, yeah, you need the reel, the good drag, and the rod to be so limber to compensate for the wire that doesn't give. So you want that. And then I think that goes into why this is my favorite rod on the boat too, because you feel the fight.
Yeah.
More than anything, more than some outside of the rigger rod, I think this is the next best rod where you really feel like a one-on-one connection to the fish, and it's a lot of fun and such. So we're gonna get this guy out of here.
Fish on the rigger.
All right, we're hooked up, guys. Right on the rigger, we just set lines. That didn't take long at all. And in fact, Rob just had to clear that one and check it because he took a whack on the Dipsy.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure the fly wasn't fouled up.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to know, just in general, when you get those drive-bys to check the fly, a lot of times they'll smack and they'll wrap around the line, and they'll be fishing a dead rod if you don't take the time just to check it and reset it. Feeling like it's going to be a little bit of coho, probably, I think.
Probably.
You got some weight to them, though.
Yep.
Can we take a moment to talk about how amazing the coho have been again this year?
I mean, everything's been amazing with this coho. Holy cow. I mean, the size of them when we're catching 10-pound fish, like almost every trip.
Yeah.
The numbers of them, it's almost like spring fishing, but we're catching big fish.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It's like a little steelhead.
Oh, nice steelhead, huh?
And brought in a spoon, too.
Oh, no. Somehow the steelhead managed to get into the rigger rod. All right, first fish of the morning. Nice little steelhead. He absolutely inhaled the hook. It was down his throat, so.
You see that?
Yeah. Was that you?
Yeah. I pulled it up because I saw a fish mark, and then the fish hit it on the way up. It released.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I did it on purpose, and it actually worked.
Oh, you saw the fish and you released it?
No, there's fish on that rigger too.
Oh.
No, I saw the fish on the screen, above the riggers. I pulled the rigger up, and the fish hit while the rigger was coming up. And you finally got that copper in the water.
Well, what you didn't see,
all morning,
what you didn't see,
your backlash, I knew what was going on.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, this is gonna work for the copper video.
Fish on this rigger, or on this Dipsy here. Big fish. Good fish.
Oh God. All right. Well, we're doubled up, folks. And he might have popped off on me. Well, Rob's managed to get his side of the boat going really good. Where you at? Close?
Fish on the 200 copper here.
Oh, Lord. All right. Things are firing off for us here. A little bit of a chaotic. Look at him dragging the board across the water.
Yeah. I'm just going to hoist this in.
You gonna hoist them in?
Yeah, you keep fighting that fish.
All right.
I'm not really too worried about if I lose it.
Yeah. I think we have more than enough meat, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice chunky coho.
Yeah, when you're hoisting in 7-pound cohos, you know things are going your way. There we go. Nice coho on the Munda Super Frog and a white Pro Troll.
Yeah. It's about as classic as you can get with that flasher.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dipsy, left side. Folks, action's incredible. It really is incredible.
You want to tighten the drag on that, Dipsy?
Yeah.
Oh, this one came off already. That was just a coho.
Yeah.
Fish hit it right there.
Oh, look at that. Let's go. This is absolutely nuts fishing. Rob is pulling into Dipsy, lost the fish, reeling it in, and took a bite.
Yep.
Insane. And you're right there at the surface.
Yeah, I was right there.
He came up high.
He followed it up.
He was chasing it. All right, trying to keep this out of the way. That is something else. And you know, I've watched them on live scope. They'll come all, you'll fish deep, 80, whatever depth
right.
will be
I
down.
think I'm going to go underneath you and get over here.
Yeah. And I've watched them come all the way to the surface to hit it. And they just breeze through that thermal, or through the water column like nothing. It's they're incredible. They really are. All right. Oh, we got board rod.
Yeah, we got fish all over the place right now.
Pandemonium, folks.
We got a little coho there.
Yep.
I'm just trying to get this down, just to get it out of the way.
Or maybe it's just a big coho. Big coho. Jeez.
I'll get the net for you.
All right. Did you lose that fish?
Nope, still on there. Well, I'll net your fish first.
We just took a rigger.
We're pretty much tripled up right now.
Yeah, we are tripled up.
We got a fish on the rigger, netting a fish here.
This is a big ass coho. There we go.
Grab that.
Yep.
Grab this rigger.
What a donkey.
And we still have the fish on the copper.
Yeah, he's still.
I decided to reel in the rigger instead.
Beautiful. Look how fat they are. I mean, we cut him up. He's gonna be full of outwards.
Oh!
Broke off?
That one broke off.
Wow. Well,
check your knots, check your leaders. That one hasn't been checked in a while, obviously.
It's taken a lot of fish and it hasn't been checked. We lost the hottest flasher of the morning.
Yeah, I know. It's a good thing we always have more of those.
Yeah.
Fish on it.
Yep.
Another big coho on there.
Yep. I don't think there's any question that the white Megatron has been a coho magnet this year.
Yeah. Kings too.
Yeah. We've been doubled up, tripled up. We still got a fish that we haven't cleared off of our SWR rods. Been lingering around.
Yeah. Just a little guy on there.
Yeah.
Oh! Well, I was going for the net. We might just have to leave this net out.
That's actually just, it's fairly common. I think guys might get discouraged about stuff like that.
And considering how long we had fish on, I mean, we just left that board out and did other things, landed other fish, lost other fish.
Yeah.
And they just kind of waited till someone had to reel it in.
Yeah.
All right, so when we're setting the Dipsy here, if you're not careful, you could end up letting it into your rigger line. So what we like to do is just kind of start it off behind there, let it out, get that Dipsy in the water and thumb it out so it starts getting away from the boat and away from that rigger line. And then after that, you just want to make sure you're letting it out slow so that it doesn't fall and get the leader twisted around your main line, because then it'll never release.
Rigger, rigger, rigger.
This is a good one too.
Oh, we lost it.
There's fish on there. Unreal.
All right, all right. Oh, Lord. All right, we're starting to get here into
It's a depressing, feel like I've never done this before.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, these big coho will do this.
Yeah,
They'll
big
wreck
cohos
you.
are
They will wreck
Keep
you.
on the line there.
Yeah. All right, ready? There we go. What is it?
Coho.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Had me fooled. I thought it was a big king the way he was
There's
fighting.
fish on the copper.
Yeah, yep. All right, I'll
That's
take
a
care
big
of it.
coho there. You're hooked on there.
Look at that coho right there, folks. That's close to double digits, huh?
Yeah.
That's a stud. I tell you, this guy right here has been smoking hot. Beautiful fish. Beautiful. Just incredible fishery.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how good we actually have it out here.
We're spoiled.
Like this fishing, like you see right here, where we're constantly hooked up. It's been like this for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah. Yep.
Some days you get more kings than others. Some days there's fish hitting that Dipsy again. Some days, you know, you never know what you're going to catch. Some days it's a whole bunch of steelhead, but every day has been phenomenal fishing.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. If this isn't a world-class coho, I mean, where else can you go to get big cohos like this? I
Right.
mean, all right, we're hooked up again off the rigger. This Plain Jane Pro Troll's just smoking hot.
Yeah, actually we switched over to a hot spot.
Oh, you did?
Because that was the first one I saw. But it's pretty much the same.
It's a crush, right? Double crush?
Yeah,
or
same color.
crush with the silver on the back?
Exactly. The only main difference is it doesn't have a fin like the Pro Troll. But it's a classic flasher. It's been catching tons of fish for decades out here.
Yeah.
There you go. This one I think came off while I was doing this.
Yeah.
Look how fat that coho is.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow.
just ridiculous. This is absolutely insane. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at that. Just beautiful fish. All right, guys, so we've been talking about Dipsy rods and Dipsy setups. Let's go back to the shop and we'll actually show you how you can terminate your wire to your mono, and that's a common question we get a lot. So let's go back there and Rob's gonna show us how to do that, all right?
So now that we're back at the shop, let me show you the different Dipsies and how you rig them. For this time of the year when we're using wire Dipsies, we typically like the deeper divers in the size 107 or the 124, which would be considered a mag. If you're using the Jensen divers, that'd be a size 1, or the size 3 would be the Magnum. So this is that right here, and what you do is you attach the snap swivel from your line to the diver right here onto the arm, and then when the fish hits, the arm's going to pop out. So there's a little adjustment screw right here. You can tighten or loosen so you get the right tension on that. You don't want it too tight and you don't want it too loose. That just takes a little bit of trial and error to get right, but all you need is a little tiny turn of that screw and it makes a pretty big difference. So when do you decide to use one size over the other? I typically use the size 1s until I need to get down about 60, 70 feet, and when I really need to get down past that, then I'll switch over to the Magnum 124 divers. So that's really all there is to it. Some people will use the Magnum divers all year, just less line to get deeper. But I find that I have a little bit better luck when the fish are shallower using the smaller ones and just having a little further away from the boat. So let me show you how to terminate the end of your wire so you can attach it to this Dipsy. So when you attach your wire to your backing on the back end, what we're going to show you here is an Albright knot. So what we have is the looped over wire, and we're going to put your backing into the wire and just start wrapping it around like that. You get round it 6 or 8 times and then just put it right back into that loop and then pull it tight. Now you should have enough wire on your reel that you'll never see this. A typical wire rig should have 1,000 feet of wire on top of your backing. So if you don't have confidence or you're not, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You'll never see it anyways. But that is how to attach wire to backing on a wire reel. All right, so I'm going to show you how to terminate the end of the wire to attach to a diver. First thing I'm going to do is put the wire through the bead here, and that's to stop the knot and snap swivel from hitting the rod tip. The next thing I'm going to do is just put the line through the swivel like that. Make that loop right there. I'm going to make another loop. It's just an overhand knot. Now I'm going to go through that loop with the snap swivel. And then I'm just going to work that down so it's not a really big loop. I'm just going to keep it kind of small like that. Pull it tight, trim off the end, and you're ready to fish a wire diver. That'll attach right to the diver itself. So as you can see, we had a great morning. We lost at least as many fish as we caught. And you got to see a little bit how we were using Dipsy divers, the wire divers, some information on the copper rods, a little of everything going on. But yeah, it was a great morning. We fished deep. We started in 120. We had just headed east. So we got into 150s, 160s. The action really picked up. As you saw, we had doubles and triples. We never really had to make any changes. I think at one point the biggest change we made was we let out the one Dipsy a little further from 125 to 185. Eventually Michael changed the spoon on the SWR, and I don't even know if we really needed to change it. It was just kind of because everything worked. So it was a pretty phenomenal morning with lots of action. We didn't get any big kings, but we got some great cohos and a decent smaller king here. So thanks for watching, and if you need any of this stuff in the videos, you can contact us at lakefishingangler.com. You can email us or give us a call or just stop in the store, and we're always happy to help.